Good afternoon and welcome to Cinergy Field. I'm Harvey Smilovitz, and you are joining us in a wet, damp, rainy Cinergy Field. This is the last game. The Bengals will play here. The fans are celebrating because the Bengals have just knocked off the Browns, as you saw right here on Channel 12. Final score, 44-28. Now, we will go through 30 years of history here at Cinergy Field. We'll take you through the Freezer Bowl. We will take a look at everything that is Bengals in the last 30 years here. And we start the show off by bringing in, I guess you could say, an old-timer, right?
Oh, no. Old-timer already? It's
no,
4 years.
Not yet. Eric Ball, fine running back for the Bengals. You played on the Super Bowl team, the second one. What were your feelings coming in here today, Eric, knowing that this is the last game ever played here?
I'll tell you, this is a game that I couldn't miss because it was the last game. I think the history that we have here in the stadium, and then the players that, when I came in, things were going well. They've gone through so much. They've been playing well the last 4 or 5 weeks. You had to come out and support them.
Tell me how the Bengals have changed in the years since you played for them up till now.
Well, it all hasn't been good now. We all know that. But in the past 4 or 5 weeks, just to come out, the team has been playing well. They've been fighting, and they've been putting points on the board.
3 straight wins. How about the emotion here from the fans today?
It's great. They stayed to the end. I mean, this is a wet, damp, cold day. Guys don't like playing in this game. The people stood out here. They waited. They watched the game, and they stayed.
Now, everybody has a favorite moment when they're a player. Do you have that one favorite moment, that one special time when you were a Bengal?
I'll tell you what, it sticks in my mind. That first season, just coming out here as a rookie and being on the field of all the players that you watched for so many years, you're right there, you're playing against them, and you're competing.
Rain, wet, cold, but it didn't stop you from coming out today.
Well, I need a little cover in here right now.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Eric Ball, I guess you could call him an old-timer, right? Perhaps, but we will have a lot of old-timers. We'll have a lot of memories. We're going to take you through Bengals Beat Live, and we're going to have a lot more here from the stadium. We're going to bring some players out. We're going to go into the locker room. But first, let's go back to the studio. In case you missed any of the action today, Tim Bray has all the highlights from the first and second halves, and we'll be back shortly. Right now, let's go to you, Tim.
All right, thank you very much, Harvey. We'll have plenty of post-game reaction live from the stadium in just a few moments, but I'll tell you what, let's get to the first half highlights of this one, and what a first half it was, as the last Battle of Ohio in the Millennium, and the first half was plenty of fireworks. Let's go to Cinergy Field, and after holding the Browns 3 and out, and Jeff Blake went to work finding Darnay Scott over the middle for 24 yards, and then it's Dillon time. This is a 16-yard sweep to the left. That puts him over 1,000 yards for the season, and that would set up a 29-yard field goal by Doug Pelfrey, and it is 3-0 Cincinnati. And after a 3 and out for Cleveland, Dillon continued to work, busting the sweep left. Look at Corey Rumble, 41 yards, but the next carry isn't so good. Dillon coughs up the football. Wally Rayner forced it. Former Bengal Mike Thompson picks it up, and the Browns take over. Another 3 and out, and Craig Yeast makes some magic. Watch this. He fields the punt, and check out the moves. Breaks a tackle, shake, bake, and then it's a dash to the end zone. Marlon Forbes can't hold on. 81 yards for the touchdown. 10-0 Bengals. Couch finally gets the first down in a big way. This is a bomb to Ronnie Powell, his first catch of the season. 42 yards over Rodney Heath, and that sets up Couch finding Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the flat. Hawkins falls down on the wet turf, and he stretches and scores. It's 10-7. Now more Dillon as he goes down the sidelines again. Watch him go from right to left. And where's the Browns D? 50 yards in all before he steps out of bounds at the 4. Cliff Gross would get a 1-yard plunge, bam, into the end zone, and it's 17-7. Now, Mark Edwards returns home, but his first carry deep in Cincinnati territory, not so good. Kimo von Oelhoffen forced the fumble. He also recovers it. Bengals take over. And after a long drive, finished off by who else? Dillon, a 3-yard carry. The point after no good, 23-7. And right before the half, after another long completion, Terry Kirby runs in from the 2-yard line. Couch gets the 2-point conversion. It's 23-15 Bengals. But the half's not over. Tremaine Mack on the kickoff return. 53 yards. Tack on another for that face mask right there. And the Bengals are deep in Browns territory again. Finish off the half with another Dillon score. 30 first half points. It's 30-15 at the halftime break. Now, let's take a look at some of the stats in the first half. Corey Dillon, 162 yards on the ground. Cincinnati outgaining the Browns 285-161. Tim Couch accounting for most of it, 158 yards and 2 scores. Bengals had 159 yards on returns. Now, let's go to the halftime ceremonies. They honored 3 decades at Cinergy, from the first Bengal Bob Johnson to Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz. Second half now. Corey picks up right where he left off right tackle, and Dillon to the end zone, 11 yards, touchdown. It's 37-15. Well, how about a little defense? John Copeland drops in coverage. Tim Couch never expects that. He throws it right to him. And Copeland's second interception of the year, 3rd of his career. But Couch would find the right guys. Finally, 16-yard strike to Irv Smith. That's a touchdown, 37-21 Bengals. Now, next series, Blake decides to go to the home run ball. This is Darnay Scott, and the bomb, 52 yards. Look at him run. That's pretty. Touchdown Bengals. End of the third. Bengals up 44-21. And Tim Couch, throwing from his own end zone, tries to go deep. Greg Myers is there for the INT. But that's not all. This was a score-a-thon. This is the long pass from Ty Detmer to Darren Cheverini, and it's 19 yards, but that is it. It's over. The Bengals win the final game ever at Cinergy Field, 44-28. Here's some final unofficial numbers now. Dillon, 28 carries for 193 yards and 3 big scores. The Bengals amassed nearly 500 yards of total offense. Kimo von Oelhoffen, a big day, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery. Tim Couch, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 big interceptions. So that is the story of today's game. We'll have more scores, more highlights later in the show. For now, let's go back to Harvey Smilovitz. And Harvey, back at Cinergy Field. You staying dry?
Timmy, I'm a little jealous. You're sitting there in the nice warm studio. We're here in the rain. We're here in the cold. But you know what? We are loving it because the Bengals have won their 3rd straight game. The fans are still sticking around, yelling Corey Dillon's name. What a terrific day. You know, now that the doors have closed on Cinergy Field for the Bengals for good, they're going to be moving right next door to that nice brand new Paul Brown Stadium. But one area of concern for the Bengals still has to be the defensive backfield. They had their problems today against Tim Couch and the long bomb. But there could be someone that may be ready to help the Bengals. Jeff Hirsch traveled up to Columbus to talk with the man who could be the man who can help the Bengals.
Defense! Defense! Here it goes, right here. Right here.
The game of football is pretty much the same wherever you play it, from the crowds to the color to the camaraderie. But while the 100-yard game is the same, only a handful can make it the 100 miles from a place like Wyoming High School to a place like Ohio State.
I think he's the best player I've ever coached. Yeah, completely.
Ahmed Plummer, senior co-captain from Wyoming, Ohio, has given the Buckeyes a big step.
My experience here at Ohio State has been great. You know, I have nothing to complain about, and I've been able to do things that most people will never get to do in a lifetime.
Ahmed Plummer's athletic lifetime began in Wyoming. His glory came at quarterback, but Ahmed knew to make it to the next level, his future would be at cornerback.
And Ahmed Plummer with his 4th pick of the year.
But there's far more to Ahmed Plummer.
Besides being a great player, probably the best thing about Ahmed is he's just such a great person. He is great character, great integrity, just a fine, fine individual.
Plummer credits his mother for instilling discipline, but also points to a higher power.
It's definitely the Word of God. I mean, reading the Word of God, you see how awesome God is, and you realize really how small you are.
But to his teammates, Plummer is anything but small. As co-captain, he's huge. For example, picking off a pass against Michigan. What's more meaningful, beating Michigan or beating Cape?
Oh, that's good. I think it's about the same, actually. I mean, I think back on that victory, and I still get chills. But still, beating Michigan up here is a big-time thing. I mean, Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, it's nothing like the rivalry. It's one of those things you'll never forget.
So here's something to think about. The Cincinnati Bengals can certainly use some help in the defensive backfield. What about the Bengals drafting a hometown hero to be in the lineup opening day next season when the new Paul Brown Stadium opens?
I would love to play, for the Bengals if that opportunity came about, especially with them getting a new stadium. I mean, that would be a great opportunity.
Ahmed Plummer has already received a postgraduate academic scholarship. But before Plummer goes for his MBA or PhD, he'll be going for his NFL.
I know that some of these little kids and some of these other guys, look up to me, and it's my responsibility to give them something good to look up to.
On the field and off. Jeff Hirsch, 12 Sports.
Jeff, thank you very much. Hey, you talk about a great defensive back. You talk about the best cornerback the Bengals ever had. We have him right here. Ken Riley played 15 years for the Bengals back in the 60s and the 70s. Thank you so much for joining us. Ken, tell me about those years with the Bengals. What was it like back in '69?
Well, we were little pups. I came here in '69, I guess, a year after Bengals was in inception, and we were young early, and we was just like the little cub we had. It was our mascot, but we matured and had some very, very good years here, and I was just happy to be a part of that.
You've had so many great years, 15 with the Bengals. Is there one year that stands out, one special moment that Ken Riley will never forget?
Well, there has been so many, but that year, it was so cold, I guess, in that 59 below football game we played against San Diego, the Ice Bowl. That was the one that got us to the Super Bowl, and they call it the Ice Bowl in Pontiac, Michigan. I guess that was special because that was something that you don't get a chance to experience very often, but that was probably one of the best times.
Some of the youngsters who are watching the Bengals these days don't remember Paul Brown. What do you remember about Paul Brown being your coach?
Well, he was very innovative. He was just a special person. He was way ahead of his time. I've been in football and as an administrator and as a player now, and some of the things that he taught early in my career, some of us probably question it, but being in that position now, I can understand very vividly why and why he did certain things. So he was a person that low stature but carried a big stick. We respected him, and a lot of us played just out of fear of him. I mean, he was a great person, and I really enjoyed the years I had here with the Bengals with him.
How about today's Bengals? People make so much about the defensive backfield and the cornerbacks. What do the Bengals need to do to improve, Ken?
Well, I guess he's got to play together as a team, and a lot of times when things start going wrong, the only people that can correct that are the players themselves, not the coaches, but the players. And what they have to do is stay together as a team and believe in themselves. And hopefully, it's like anything else, when things go bad, they tend to go bad. But then when it turns around and starts going well for you, then you can see some positive things beginning to happen. Today was very, very positive. Hopefully, they can just gain from this and keep continuing to win.
On a positive note, thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you.
All right. Ken Riley, one of the best for the Bengals, the best ever when it comes to the defensive backfield. Stay with us on the Bengals Beat Live, because coming up, we'll have a lot more memories. We're going to go back to that Freezer Bowl. We will take a look at a lot more when we return right here on Bengals Beat Live. Stay with us.
Probably one of my fondest memories was a Monday night football game there where we were playing Buffalo, and OJ ran for about 200 yards, but Kenny Anderson threw it for 450, and we ended up beating them. That stadium's been in existence for 30 years, and I've been here for 22 of those. And, it's sad to see us go, but look right next door across that parking lot and look at the nice new one we got going up there. And so, bon voyage to Cinergy, and on to Paul Brown.
I think one special moment was that same Super Bowl year where, we got off to a pretty good start. All of a sudden, in the middle of the football season, Riverfront Stadium, as it was called then, was transformed into the jungle. The Freezer Bowl, when we played the San Diego Chargers and beat them and got a trip to our first Super Bowl. That would have to be the highlight of Cinergy Field for me.
Welcome back to the Bengals Beat Live. A very special day here at Cinergy Field. Not because it's raining and wet, but the final game ever for the Bengals was played here this afternoon. In case you're just tuning in, the Bengals beat the Browns 44-28. Bengals win their third straight. We'll have more interviews. We're going to go down memory lane with the Bengals, all 30 years. But first, for all 32 years of the Bengals' existence, Tom Gray has served as the team's equipment manager. But this year, it's Tom Gray's last. Tim Bray has that remarkable story.
Tom Gray's probably been around as long, longer than the stadium. So, I mean, Tom Gray's a great guy, loyal guy to this organization, and does a great job for us.
He's always been there for me when I needed him, and that's all you really can ask for from my guy.
Tom's a cool dude. You know, I just been here 2 years, but you know, Tom, you know, he's been here for a while. You know, and you know, he's just a good guy.
Whether he's just a cool dude or just a great guy, Tom Gray is a Bengals institution. He's the only equipment manager they've ever had.
I'm on Green, ahead to the 30-yard line.
He's never missed a game nor a practice in 32 years. That figures out to be 506 games. But the streak will end as he will retire at the end of the year.
I think there's an element of luck involved anytime that you can be that long, that consistent, and not miss any. So we knock on wood every now and then thinking about it, and to be lucky in health is worth the price.
Pro football has always been a way of life for Gray. He came to Cincinnati with Paul Brown when the franchise was formed. So all total, he's been around the game 47 years.
Well, he's a fixture. He started to work for Paul Brown in Cleveland when he was around 15 years old. And I don't think this organization realizes the value of a guy like that.
He's in charge of about everything, including striping the helmets. Yet his favorite times are with the players.
Yeah, Boomer and Crumry and Anderson and Isaac Curtis, and you can just go down through the ranks and name them, and they've been back here. Anthony was back here every noon, and I don't think he was hiding from you guys. I think he just sat back here just to be out of the way.
Over the years, Gray has seen the Bengals transform from an expansion franchise led by Paul Brown to a team which went to the Super Bowl, to a team which has fallen on hard times, losing more games in the 90s than any other NFL franchise. Gray has seen it all. But after the final gun of Week 16, it will all come to an end. 47 seasons of memories.
There's a lot to be missed. It's a good, healthy life and existence, and it's been good for my family and myself, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Cincinnati Bengals, the AFC Central Division champion.
On the Bengals Beat, Tim Bray, 12 Sports.
Thank you very much, Timmy. When Bengals Beat returns, more Cinergy Field memories, live player reaction about today's big win, scores and highlights from the league. When we return, stay with us.
Some of the more recent ones, the game last year against Pittsburgh, I remember having a good game against Miami here. Just winning, some big games here as a team. That stadium is 30 years old, and, they've been able to bring fans in and out every week. So I think from that aspect of just being our home, for that such a long period of time, we'll probably miss that. Some of the fans will miss the old stadium, but I think more of the fans will be looking toward the new stadium.
Probably the biggest one to me is that first time I stepped onto the field to play, fresh out of college, and always wanted to play in the NFL and having that dream, and then, finally getting down there and have my name introduced over the loudspeaker as a starter on defense.
I feel like when I got the chance to go in there and go in there actually after I made the team, knowing that I would be here at least, to go through a season with the team and, just try and grow.
The memories of Cinergy Field. Welcome back to Bengals Beat Live. I'm Harvey Smilovitz. 30 years, and Cinergy Field is closing down. The Bengals have played their final game ever here. They'll move next door to Paul Brown Stadium starting next season. These fans, they showed up. Sure, there was no shows this afternoon, but it was almost a packed house and a very emotional day here, especially at halftime when some of the old-timers came out on the field. Anthony Munoz was there, Greg Cook, a lot of other players as well. And I think everyone enjoyed the fact that these players have given their all in 30 years here at Cinergy Field. Stick around for more of Bengals Beat Live, because when we return, we will take you through the 30 years. We will walk through from the Paul Brown era to the Freezer Bowl, the Icky Shuffle, to the Dillinator. He was awesome today. 30 years in 3 minutes. That's coming up. Stay with us.
I know it more as Riverfront Stadium. It was just Riverfront Stadium, the Ice Bowl. You think of games in the past, Munoz, Icky Woods, those kind of guys. You think about the history and the games that they played. That's what it's kind of closing the door and, putting the past behind you. That's what it really is to me.
Well, I think one would have to really bring Paul Brown's name back as far as his association, and Bill Walsh was still there at that time. There was a lot of creative offensive minds working together there in the early years, and defensive too.
Another terrific memory here from Cinergy Field. Welcome back to Bengals Beat Live. I'm Harvey Smilovitz. What a terrific day for the Bengals. 44-28, they beat the Browns. Third straight win for the Bengals. Corey Dillon, an exceptional day. Nearly 200 yards, 3 touchdowns for Corey Dillon. And I think he got up for this game. He knew the emotion coming in. A lot of players from the Bengals over the years here at the stadium, he wanted to put on a good show. He wanted to show everyone that Corey Dillon does indeed belong. How about Jeff Blake? Jeff Blake as well, a terrific afternoon, perhaps showcasing his talents for the next team for next season. And the Bengals in particular, the offense, the defense, the special teams. Everybody came together this afternoon as they knock off the Browns by the final score of 44-28. 30 years here at Cinergy Field, and the Bengals are moving next door. They are heading to Paul Brown Stadium for next season. But over the years, from 70 to 99, we have got it all. We opened up the Channel 12 archives. We took out the footage. And our editor, Matt Coyner, put it all together for a terrific 30-year perspective on the Bengals. Take a look.
One of the high moments of my football life. I didn't know I could reach this high without coaching. Get there so often, and for a guy like yours truly, I might not be able to wait another 20 years.
It's the same old stuff. I'm as tired and sick of it as you are and the fans are.
What a terrific piece by Matt Coyner. Thank you very much. We talk about the Bengals and the offense and how terrific they played this afternoon. Here's the man who helped make it happen, Rod Jones, lineman for the Bengals. You were opening up some kind of holes for Corey today.
Yeah, we're just working hard out there, working together, not just me. You know, Matt O'Dwyer, Rich Bram, Jay Lewinberg, and Willie Anderson. We all working hard to get Corey some yards, and I think he's well deserved of that, you know, so we've been working hard for him.
When you open those holes and you see him take off, what are you thinking in your mind as he's running down the field?
It's just a feeling of such fulfillment that, okay, we're doing something that's positive. We're making strides and we're moving the ball. And it's just, it means everything to an offensive lineman because, you know, that's the only thing you're going to get praised for is how well your running back does. So it's a great feeling.
Offensive line has been playing well over the last few games. What is it? A rededication? Is there something different?
Not so much rededication. You got to understand, at the beginning of the season, we were young. We had 2 new guards, 1 new left tackle, and we had to grow together. We had to understand which each person was going to do, you know, at different times of the game. So now we've been playing a while, and we know where each other's going to be, and so we can play hard, we can play together, and that's what it's all about, playing together on the offensive line.
Tell me how the emotion affected you guys today, because you heard the fans out there. You knew this was the last game at Cinergy. Yeah. What was it like on the field?
It was just electric. Everything was just going so well. We got a report, Corey has 123 yards first half, and it was like, yeah, let's just move it, let's keep pushing, let's keep driving, you know. It was unfortunate, you know, we had to pull him out, but it was just electric, and everything was just, it was perfect, and even with the rain, it was just a perfect day.
All right, so you go to Paul Brown Stadium next season. I know a lot of players say, we don't care where we play, we just want to play, but I know playing on that grass, you're going to like it there.
Definitely. I guess it takes away a lot of the tension in your mind in terms of injuries and getting your feet, you know, your footing and everything like that. So definitely it'll be a nice upgrade to some grass and a beautiful new stadium for the fans to enjoy, and hopefully it'll be a very electric season next year.
Last question, what do you do with an off day next Sunday?
What do you do? Just take it easy and try to relax and remain focused and get ready for Baltimore and Jacksonville to finish out the season on a high note.
Best of luck to you, Rod.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Rod Jones opening up the holes for Corey Dillon today. And the man who is handing the ball to Corey Dillon this afternoon is quarterback Jeff Blake. He's going to step up here. Let's see, Jeff, thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate it. Tell me what kind of day you had out there today.
I had a great day. You know, offensive line did a great job blocking for Corey and for me too. So had a chance to run the ball a little bit. Got called back, but it was still fun. And we had a fun time out there, you know, and we still got our deep pass in, and that's all I can ask for.
You were hooking up with Darnay all afternoon. What went right?
You know, everything pretty much. I mean, when you're not having a lot of penalties, jumping outside, holding, and doing things to stop yourself and, you know, and make yourself go backwards, it's a lot easier to go out and move the ball up and down the field the way we did. And if we continue to do that each week, I mean, we should have no problem putting points on the board.
You always say, if Corey can get me a 100-yard day, I'm going to have a great day. Tell me about his performance today.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And like I said, when a running back gives your quarterback over 100 yards, it's pretty much the quarterback has a good chance of winning the football game. You know, in the last, 3 weeks, I've gotten that from him, and we've got 3 wins. So as long as that continues to happen, it's going to be easy for us to win games.
We just talked to Rod Jones a few moments ago. The way the offensive line plays gives you time to throw the ball, gives Corey time to run the ball. Talk about that offensive line.
They did a great job. Like I said, they gave us time to throw the ball, run the ball, and if I didn't have anybody there, I was able to tuck it and run it and get some yards running. So it was a great job on their part, and just congratulate them and congratulate all the fans for coming out and supporting us today. They did a great job with that and sending those Browns fans back home.
If this is the last time we see Jeff Blake at Cinergy, give me your best memory. What are you going to remember the most?
I have a lot of them. Just throwing touchdowns, period. And throwing that deep ball and letting those guys go get it. Those are the memories that I keep dearly to me.
Is there any hope we'll see Jeff Blake back here next year?
It's a business thing from here on out. After the season's over with, that's between my agent and myself and the teams that's going to be up. So it's a business thing, and it has nothing to do with a personal aspect. It's business, And football does have a business side of it, and we got to play the game.
Last question. Off day next Sunday. What does Jeff Blake do?
Jeff Blake going to Miami and watch his brother-in-law play.
Oh, yeah? You're not going to stay for this weather?
Oh, no. I'm going to Miami.
Jeff, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. Jeff Blake leading the Bengals to victory this afternoon. 3rd straight win. An emotional day here today. Woo! We had a great afternoon. For all of us here on Bengals Beat Live, thank you for joining us. We'll see you at 6:30 when we have a lot more on the Bengals. And don't forget, join us tonight on the Ford Dealer Sports Authority at 11:30 when we will wrap up a very big Bengals day, the final day ever at Cinergy Field. Good night, everyone.